So you had a funnel that was working, and now, for whatever reason, over the past few days, few weeks, maybe even a few months, things have been dying out. The profitability is going down. Your returns on your advertising and your marketing efforts are going down. In this video, I'm going to go over the two ways that I've always used to turn around what some people would call a dying funnel. And these do not require you to completely change your business, completely change your product or what you're selling. They can honestly be done inside of, a weekend, 24 to 48 hours. The biggest mistake I see so many people make is they resist, they deny what is happening. And this is a mistake that I have made as someone that has now sold over $50 million worth of online coaching, online courses, digital products through paid ads and sales funnels. Almost always, even though this has happened now dozens of times, I saw the signs of what was happening. I saw that a funnel was dying out. The performance, if you're just looking at it objectively, was clearly declining, but I was in denial. Maybe because I didn't want to face the reality of maybe having 1 or 2 days of a lot of work, which sometimes these things can be. I'm not going to lie to you and say that they're, instant, snap your fingers and AI is just going to magically do it for you. However, they also don't require weeks and weeks of effort. They don't require you to completely change your business. So what are these two things? The first thing, which if you've ever watched any of the videos on my channel, I talked extensively about, it all comes down to your angle. The very first thing that I would always recommend, if you have a funnel that is dying out, keep literally everything the same. The funnel, the product that you're selling, the sales process, literally everything except for the idea or the premise that you are presenting to people in the first 5 to 10 seconds that they are seeing you for the very first time. That is what an angle is. And I'll actually link a video in the description if it is of interest. It's like an hour-long masterclass over how I think about angles, how I create them, and how you can do the same. So the angle, the idea, the premise that is presented to someone who's completely cold, because I'm assuming that's how you're marketing to people who don't know you already. The idea that you are planting in their head when they see you and they hear you, when they just read about you in an advertisement for the very first time, is going to set the stage for the entire rest of the sales process. And more importantly, it is going to dictate the quality of leads that are then going to be eventually filtered out through the rest of your sales process. So I have seen this countless times before. You have some ads, you have a funnel, you have an offer that is working, but then over time, it's almost like just more crap kind of slips through the cracks. It's like more and more low quality leads, people who are broke, people who are tire kickers, people who just don't see the value in what you are offering. And this usually happens because the very first time, or when you're in the early stages of marketing something, of selling something, of offering something to a completely new audience, you're going to see an initial reaction of excitement. There's new people who are all clamoring to get your thing. But then over time, that starts to die out. And in fact, right now, in the past year, 2025, 2026, I would say the average life cycle of a good angle is usually 3 or 4 months. And this is very different than when I was doing a lot of marketing, a lot of ads in the early 2020s, 2021, 2022. I had angles that ran for a year and a half. I literally had ads on YouTube and on Facebook that literally ran unchanged for over a year. And now that's unheard of. And for some markets and for some people, I hear that they're having to swap things in every 2 weeks because that's how long an angle is working for them. And that maybe is not fun, but that's just the nature of business. As more competition enters into a market, that means you have to stay on your toes more. You have to be updating things more often. So what does this actually look like in practice? As an example, one of the best-selling products, one of the best-selling programs that I ever had was a program on how to do YouTube ads for people like me, like coaches, agency owners, service providers, people who are trying to get high-ticket clients. That was the main way that I had always gotten my clients, was YouTube ads. And we were doing well for maybe 3 or 6 months with this angle of targeting coaches, agency owners, service providers who are already running Facebook ads. That was our angle, was saying Facebook ads are going down the toilet. This was also the time when there was the iOS updates. Zuckerberg was being very liberal with banning people's accounts. So a lot of people were complaining. There was a lot of negativity around Facebook ads. So that angle worked well because we were giving them a new opportunity to swap out of that was going to solve all of the headaches they were currently dealing with. But like any other angle, it did not last forever. Eventually, people started to calm down. They realized it wasn't all doom and gloom. And we would see our results, our performance, our cost per call started to increase, our return on our advertising started to decrease as well. And this was an example of a time where I was in denial. I did not want to change the angle because it had already produced like multiple millions of dollars at this point. But when I sat down and I realized, after a while, after a few weeks of denial, I realized that we did have to actually change something. So I was thinking about, and again, I'll go a lot more into more detail in the Angle Creation Masterclass, the other video I have linked in the description. But I was thinking about, if we're teaching people how to advertise on YouTube, like that's fundamentally what our offer is. I don't want to change that. I think that is valuable. What are some of the other ways that we could get people's attention with that? And I remember I was like literally on YouTube searching like grow your business with YouTube, like make money from YouTube. Like that's one of the best ways to find proven angles, is just to find proven organic creative. So like YouTube videos, Instagram videos, TikTok videos, look at the hooks that those proven videos are using. Look at the first 5 seconds because they've already done the hard work. You can tell based on how well their organic videos have performed, how well an idea is catching people's brains. And when I was searching for those things, I noticed there were quite a lot of videos that were talking about like how to start a YouTube channel and never make your own videos, or like how to make money on YouTube and not make your own videos. So this idea of YouTube being a place that you can make a lot of money, grow your business, whatever, but you never have to make the videos. I was like, that's kind of interesting. And that is honestly kind of true with our offer, because we're not teaching people to like make their own YouTube channel and make videos every single week. We're essentially teaching them how to make one good YouTube video ad and have that be the thing that fuels all their business, gives them all the clients, all the customers, all the high ticket revenue that they could possibly need. And that angle was one that actually ran for over a year and a half. We had the angle of, did you know there's a new way to make money on YouTube without ever making your own YouTube videos? In fact, here is an example of a YouTube video that I shot. It literally took me less than 3 minutes to record. It's just this one video, but this one video made me over $2 million. It's a pretty interesting hook. And it's the exact same offer, exact same product, exact same sales process in the back end. But the only difference was, again, that literal hook, the first 5 or 10 seconds that I'm presenting to someone at the very start of the video ad. And like night and day, as soon as I finished recording that batch of ads, I was testing a bunch of new angles that were all kind of around those lines. Literally, as soon as those ads went live, night and day difference. We immediately saw a turnaround in our sales, and that angle actually ended up scaling that offer to over $2 million a month, just from that one single angle. So I say all of this, I share all of this to say, I talk to so many business owners who, when things are not going well, it's kind of like they have this energy of like, hang up the hat, throw the towel in the ring, let's burn the whole business down because this whole thing isn't working. When in reality, what is actually happening is probably 95% of what you are doing is probably working well, and you don't need to screw around with it. You don't need to change it. It's literally just this first 5% that needs to be changed. So every single time I tell a client to do this, or a client comes to me and they're complaining about this issue, this is the first solution I always prescribe. And it maybe isn't fun because it is a little repetitive. You do have to do a little bit of analysis, a little bit of research. You do have to think about what is actually going to be something interesting that you can present for the same offer, same product. That's why I have that Angle Creation Masterclass down in the description, which I do think will be very, very useful. That is tactic number 1. Tactic number 2, which does honestly take a little bit more work, which is why I would usually say just experiment with changing the angle first. Only do this if you truly feel like you've exhausted that. Like you spent weeks at this point of doing dozens and dozens of new angles, new ads, new hooks in your creatives, and for whatever reason just isn't working. The second option that you do have, which absolutely is easier than just burning the whole business down and just starting over from scratch, is changing the funnel type. And this is especially important now in 2026 when competition in pretty much every industry is at all-time highs. No matter what you sell, whether it's coaching, services, courses, digital products, whatever, no matter what your industry is, I guarantee if I go on Instagram right now, I can find 10, 20, 50 other people who are all claiming to do the exact same thing as you. And your customers know that too. You are probably not the first business offering whatever it is that you're offering, like tax planning services, personal nutrition advice, day trading advice, I don't know. But I guarantee your prospects, your leads, your potential clients have seen those 10, 20, 50, 5 million other people that are also offering this same thing. And the odds are also very high that they have been through a sales funnel before. They have been through one of your competitors' sales funnels, which maybe looks very, very similar to yours. So it's not a surprise, really, then, if you are running the exact same kind of funnel, offering the exact same kind of program, offer, service, whatever, as all of these other people, it's not going to be a surprise that the effectiveness is going to start to decrease. As the competition increases, the effectiveness decreases because people just start to not listen to you anymore. And this is one metric that you can actually see. If you have a video tracking software that lets you see what percentage of the video people are watching, at what point do they drop off, you will start to see this. If you compare 6 months ago to now, the average retention of your viewers has probably gone down if you have not updated your marketing or if you have not updated your funnel. And this is because, again, just the natural byproduct of having competition in a market. So the very simple advice here is, you might have heard it, is to zig when others zag. If everyone in your market is using, let's say, a webinar, which isn't really a live webinar, it's just pre-recorded, it's an hour long, and at the end of it, they make a pitch to book a call. You probably should not be the 50th or 51st person that is also doing an hour-long webinar and booking people to a sales call. You should probably do something else that your competitors are not yet doing. And someone like me who nerds out on marketing, there are a million different types of funnels, but the number one funnel that, again, if you've watched any of the videos on my channel, number one funnel that me and my clients have absolutely been abusing for the past year, the past 18 months, because it does require a little bit of work to get going, and there are so many markets that are not properly using this funnel. It is the low ticket funnel, where you have someone purchase something for a small amount, $27, $37, $47, and then you ascend them to something more expensive, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 on the back end. We literally have clients where we took the exact same VSL, the exact same ads, the exact same funnel, the exact same product. Everything about the business was the same. And we pretty much just put a paywall in front of it. What they were giving away for free in like an hour-long webinar that anyone could register for free, we literally just said, this is $27 and you can watch it. And like, night and day difference. Again, just like in the first example, as soon as they put that paywall in, the quality of the leads went up, the retention of those people went up, the amount of the actual marketing material that they were watching went up, and obviously their closing rate on the back end went up as well. So there's a million things I could talk about. There's a million different funnels. Low ticket is one that I really like. Challenges are another untapped one that I think I've seen a lot of people in different competitive markets beginning to use more. The most common funnels for the past like 5-6 years have absolutely just been the webinar funnel and then the VSL funnel, where you just have a video and then you tell people to book a call and they go book a call. It's not to say that those things do not work anymore, but because these have become so competitive, you are probably in many ways shooting yourself in the foot. You are probably in many ways making your life a lot harder than it needs to be, because you are kind of fighting this uphill battle right from the start. As soon as you've paid Mark Zuckerberg, Meta ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, whatever, as soon as you've paid for that first click, you are already fighting that uphill battle, because there's however many other competitors that are running that exact same thing. And I don't know your market, but if you take a look, if you just scroll on your phone, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, look at the competitors that you get suggested ads for and click on their funnels. Look at what they are offering. If it's a bunch of lead magnets, then don't use lead magnets. If it's a bunch of webinars, don't use webinars. If it is a bunch of low ticket, then don't do a low ticket funnel. You need to do something that is not commonly seen in your market. Otherwise, your leads, your prospects, your potential customers are just going to lump you in into everyone else. And that is likely a big reason that you are seeing funnel performance die out. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.